Hey, Capricorn. Mel, intuitive coach here, excited to bring in your June 2025 love and family reading. If you're interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, Capricorn, full speed ahead. Some of you could even be traveling in the near future, meeting up with family members, perhaps going on a vacation here. We do have the shock factor showing up for you in the past position. There may have been some sudden changes that had put a little bit of a curveball in things. Now, there could have even been some news or an aha breakthrough moment that came through regarding a relationship or partnership, or even something within your own self. A moment of truth is what I'm getting here for you. And I feel like this changed and transformed everything. The shock card can be like the tower. Now, I don't see the tower here, but I feel like there's been a tower for you in the past where you may have needed that tower to destroy some old structures that may have been based on a faulty foundation or based on some sort of lies or betrayal. Something may have came crashing down, and I feel like it did transform the energy in a big way. Now, in the current circumstance here, you have the dragonfly. This is about things coming to light, and that's what that tower brought about. It feels like now that the dust has settled, you're able to perceive things from maybe a different or even higher perspective. This is about finding things out, change coming in. And some of you, it's about healing, being able to heal from the repercussions that this tower or change or shock factor brought in for you. Whether you are dealing with a family dynamic, perhaps you are partnered up, or you are single, I feel like there's been a lot of growth that you've endured, especially over the last 6 months, Capricorn. Now, in the future position, it feels like you are facing some sort of intimacy. There's some sort of fear that maybe you ran away from in the past, whether this is intimacy, it could be making a choice that was in your highest good. I feel like you're facing it head on here, and by doing so, you won't have to run away. Maybe there's been a sense of escapism, or there's been a sense of, letting go of something that no longer serves you because it's been very tumultuous, or maybe others have ran from you when like the going gets tough, or when vulnerability or intimacy presents itself. It feels like there has been a runner, potentially a runner chaser dynamic. And I just feel like someone is turning around here and facing whatever it is that they were running from. Now, it could be something of the past. You have the picture card at the bottom of the deck. This is about nostalgia. So there's a shock from the past, whether this shock happens 5 months ago or even 5 years ago. There may have been some suppressed emotions that were underlining the energy, maybe even causing a bit of a delay or a blockage when it comes to connections or partnerships here. But I feel like you are ready. You're ready to make some new memories. You may even be missing someone. They may be missing you. But this is also about remembering the good times, but also remembering that there were some times that were challenging. And through those times is when you really grew, when you really evolved. And you may be reminded here of maybe an experience or a relationship or even some good times, but I feel like you are seeing them through a different lens, not the lens of, that was so painful, or that was a heavy experience that I don't ever want to visit. It just feels like now you're able to touch that surface of something without it being so raw, without it being so, like an open wound. Now something has scarred over, and I just feel like you want to move forward with your life now because you have the Chariot. The Chariot is right here, Cancerian energy, Capricorn, and we roll into Cancer season at the end of June until mid to end of July. So this is happening here for you now. And if there was someone who was running away from you in some way, I feel like you're not chasing them. right? You're going to let them run, because if they're not willing to meet you where you're at, or if you are not vibing on the same level, it just feels like you are making space for partnerships that will meet you where you're at. I also am getting here your emotional drive, your emotional capacity, and your sense of emotional control feels more aligned than maybe it has in the past, because the Chariot is ruled by Cancer, right? And Cancer is the emotional sign of the zodiac, one of the three. And I feel like you've had some heavier emotions that have caused you to maybe backtrack or maybe veer off of the path. And I feel like you're getting back in control of your life, and you're making some forward decisions that are going to take you to a new level of your world. So I really like this. Some of you are actually moving. You could be buying a home, maybe with your spouse, or perhaps moving in. You may be heading towards, opening yourself up to love, and there could even be something that comes in quite quickly for you. But I do feel like you are exploring all options at this time, and whatever it is that you choose, Capricorn, is going to be in your highest good. So again, travel is coming up here. Maybe you're traveling to visit a family member that you haven't seen, or there could be people coming to town to visit you. You even could have a relationship at a distance, and maybe you're visiting that person or meeting in the middle. I do get here like meeting halfway. So there could be a halfway point, whether that's physically or that is emotionally, someone being willing to meet you halfway. It feels like that is significant. I'm also hearing the name Derek. Derek could be significant, or even like Roderick. It feels like Rick, R-I-C-K, or R-I-C or R-I-K. Maybe someone has a last name that ends in Rick, so please take that as it resonates. But I am getting with this Chariot, there's forward momentum. There's goals ahead that you have, and I feel like things do speed up quite quickly for you in the next 4 to 6 weeks. So what's the emotional climate? What's the prevailing energy? You are ready for a new beginning. You have the Fool card. You actually have these two big major arcanas. So you are almost rushing into a new beginning here. But it's been a long time coming, especially if there's been a shock factor in the past. This shock may have thrown you into a new beginning, kind of thrust you into this that may have felt out of your control. And I feel like there may have even been a little bit of a fear, like, can I do this? Or is this relationship, a good one for me? Or is it really ending? Is it really coming to a close? I feel like there's been some heavy shifts that have taken place, but you're in the driver's seat here, Capricorn. And you have the ability to take a risk. You have the ability here to spread your wings and open yourself up to the possibilities, to asking yourself, what else is available to me? Because you have the Seven of Cups at the bottom of the deck, and the Seven of Cups is about exploring the possibilities. Sometimes it can feel very confusing, especially if we have scattered energy or there are distractions. But I feel like the choice that you are making here is to take a leap of faith and try something that perhaps you've never done before. And if you have been running away from something, or if someone has been running away from you, I feel like you are choosing to break out of that pattern, whatever this pattern is for you. Because the unspoken truth is that there's success, that you are entering into a successful new beginning here. But I feel like there's a letting go of the way things were once done, or letting go of resentments, or letting go of old stories that may have felt, it may have felt at times like you've been overlooked, or you weren't heard, you weren't seen, you weren't valued. I feel like those stories come from your worth. There's something around self-worth here. And there's a victory wreath. So basically what is being acknowledged or not said is that you are victorious, even if you feel like you failed, even if you feel like you didn't receive the outcome that you wanted. I feel like you didn't give up, and that in itself is a success. So I feel like there is a win here. And the unspoken truth here does have to do with, recognition. Maybe you wanted to be recognized for the work that you put into it, or you wanted to be seen from a different light, from a different, story, a different angle. And I feel like you yourself are seeing you from that perspective that maybe you had hoped other people would. And your validation isn't coming from them anymore. Even though it's nice to get that, that pat on the back or that recognition in some way, I feel like you're giving it to yourself. But I also feel like there are people who are very, very proud of you, even if it's not being said. People appreciate you, Capricorn, even if they don't say it outright. You inspire a lot of people here, and I feel like you inspire through your actions. You inspire because you are a hard worker. You inspire because you are on this spiritual journey and path where you are growing and thriving and elevating, but most importantly, you are real, you are raw, and you are allowing yourself to be seen in all of your imperfections. So I love this. There's definitely someone who is motivated and inspired by you. What is the bonding strength that keeps maybe some sort of connection going, or this could be the connection that you have with self? You have the Six of Swords. It feels like through time and distance, there's something here about, the potential of moving on. But the Six of Swords is showing up here in reverse, which means sometimes there's resistance. There's resistance to the change. And that could actually be, keeping a connection lingering in the energy that it currently is. Whether someone is running, someone is chasing, it feels like we need to head towards calmer waters. Find the peace here, and maybe even journey or travel to a new space, right? A new space, a new location. And a lot of you are moving to be near family, or you're moving to feel like you can be seen. Some of you are grandparents, or you want to spend time being near like siblings, and it feels like it's hard to do so, especially if you live in a different state or a different country, or if you are miles apart from a loved one. It feels like the bond here has to do with that potential of, yes, someday we can come together. Someday we can bridge this gap, because there is a new beginning here for you. But I see that there's still endings that you are closing out in your world. Now, the tension here is recovery. Someone may have hit a rock bottom. Someone may have been betrayed. Someone may have closed the door here on a past relationship, or wants to close the door on a pattern that the mind keeps replaying out. So I do see here more of a graceful ending. This is one of my favorite 10 of Swords, because oftentimes you will see the 10 swords in the back with the guy on the ground face down. And it doesn't mean that you haven't gone through something that's been very, heavy, very rock bottom. But I feel like you've gone through it so many times where this is more of a graceful new beginning. She's heading towards the sun. The sun is lighting her path forward, and she has all of these crows above her. So you are receiving signs, maybe signs in the wind, signs through the birds, signs through your intuition and music. I feel like the universe is speaking to you at this time, saying, we can let this go. You are safe. If you fully open yourself up to this new beginning, we're here to help you spread your wings. And I feel like that is a message here from your guides, your higher self, saying it's okay to let something or someone to go, let them go. Yeah, there's been a level of tension based on, I have to stay bound to this. I have to stay the runner or the chaser, or, it's been so intense. But you have here intensity and letting go. So there may have even been some hot and cold energy here with emotions. Like one day someone is running hot, one day they're cold. This could even be parts of yourself where your mental mind is starting to feel more balanced, and your emotions are. And when the head and and the heart are aligned, that's when we're fully able to feel aligned and move forward on our journey. So what here is the healing path forward? The Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is showing up here in reverse. So it tells me that there has been a lack of motivation. For those of you that may be single, maybe you haven't felt motivated to get back out there, get back on that horse, literally with the chariot here. And I see that, taking that risk, taking that leap of faith, putting yourself out there to be seen in some way, and maybe closing the door to that version of you that started to get comfortable being on your own or being by yourself. You may be saying goodbye to that chapter and saying, okay, I'm ready to open myself up. I'm not going to fear intimacy because of the shocks that I've gone through in the past. I'm going to move forward here towards, love. I want to make some new memories, not just sit in some of the old ones. And for those of you that are currently in a partnership, you may be seriously contemplating, ending this cycle, whether it's a physical ending or just ending the old way of doing things in order for you to have this new beginning. But I feel like motivation has been a big factor. You may feel like you haven't had time to deal with something properly, or you may feel like you've been busy focusing on your finances or your abundance or your career, that you haven't had a lot of time to focus on love. Because the Ace of Wands is the ace of passion, the ace of new beginnings, the ace of potential. And I see here that it is available for you to nurture. You have this new beginning here with the Fool, and you have this beautiful spark of passion that is bubbling up within you. It wouldn't surprise me if you start to see doubles. That sounds funny. You start to see doubles, but I mean like pairs. So maybe you see a pair of birds. Perhaps you see a pair of, foxes, or you see like a people, maybe an older couple holding hands. You might start to see two of things, and that may be your sign. Maybe even the number 22 or 222 could be showing up for you, Capricorn, to let you know that you are being guided to, bring energies together, that there could be a synchronized meeting, that there could be something that is collaborating for you, but there also may be a choice to make, because twos are about choices. They're about partnerships and reflection. And I feel like you have done the reflection piece. If not, you wouldn't be heavily considering moving away or traveling or, making the choices that you're about to make. But I see here the healing path and the energy that's going to help is for you to tap into this sense of purpose. What is the reasoning? What is the why? What type of relationship do you want to be in? What type of person are you allowing yourself to be when you're in this dynamic? And do you withhold parts of yourself to feel like you can fit in? Or do you, hold yourself to maybe a certain way of doing things or being in order to make someone else feel comfortable? So I feel like you've been asking some of the heavier questions, and you want to live a life that feels wholesome, meaning all of you, right? You want someone to love all of you, not just the little bits and pieces of the good, right? But some of the pieces that can be challenging or difficult, because everybody has them. And I do see here the outcome is the Five of Wands. So where is a relationship or dynamic potentially headed? Well, I see you reaching this top pinnacle. It's been a climb. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Five of Wands, it can be a challenging competitive energy of maybe too many people involved, or adversity, or maybe even unnecessary conflict where you've dipped your toes in the dating world to see what's out there, and then you kind of retracted because you're like, none of them really match my energy, so I'm just going to continue doing my thing. For those of you that may be dealing with a family dynamic, or even spouse, or partnership of some sort, perhaps it's felt like you've been in competition in some way, like one-upping each other, or feeling like you were never able to build or communicate or collaborate on the same level, because someone could have completely different viewpoints, maybe in how they parent, how they view the world. It may be politics, it could be values, beliefs, religion, whatever it may be. It just feels like that's caused a bit of friction. It's caused some unhealthy imbalances. And that may be why you're choosing here to collaborate your efforts with people who kind of match your energy instead of feeling like you're constantly trying to get out of that hole that maybe that 10 of Swords has landed in. And I feel like that's the new beginning. You're reaching here for the Sun. All right, 7 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. We talked about this. This can even be illusions. I feel like the shock factor is some sort of illusion has been shattered. Sometimes we have the illusion of like the white picket fence and the happily ever after of this is what marriage should look like. And we have the the house and the 2.5 garage and the 3 children, and we have this perfect life. And, perfectionism, some sort of perfectionism or illusion may have been shattered. And for others of you, if you were avoiding or bypassing any sort of red flags between you and a family member or you and another just to keep the peace, I feel like that has or will implode, meaning there's going to be some sort of truths that come out, like the cat is out of the bag. Now we have to deal with this. But I feel like it pushes you in this direction where you're finally able to take action, especially if you feel like you've been stuck in a pattern for quite some time. I feel like you're going to be in a better spot. You're going to be in a better space where you're able to make some new memories, where you're able to open your heart up to intimacy and love and not just feel like you're running in circles. Let's get a message, Capricorn, from the wisdom of the Oracle. What do we have here for Capricorn, please? You have Yang. This is the masculine principle. So basically the Emperor energy. This is the masculine principle of movement. It's number 1, and it's also about creative activity. The power to make things happen. It's taking action. And that flows beautifully with the Chariot here, because the Chariot is the action taker through emotional drive and momentum, but also spiritual trust. The relationship message for you is this: circumstances are supporting action on your part. It's okay to make the first move. Trust that you will quickly know where you stand. In matters of the heart, there is movement towards your highest good. So go forth with assurance. Passion is in the air. I told you that Ace of Passion is showing up here. This is part of the energy around you that you are being asked to nurture, that you are being asked to tap into. It says here, in matters of the heart, there is movement towards your highest good. So go forth with assurance. Now is the time to dance to the tune of love. Now, do be mindful of impulsive action over confidence or even aggressive behaviors. Now, I'm not seeing that within your energy, but because we do have the shock factor and we have other people involved in the 5 of Wands, there could be other people that are coming on strong. Okay. And you may not like that. You may be moving away from that actually. And it says here, think before you act, lest you find yourself in a situation that will lead to uncomfortable consequences. Be sure you really want what you are chasing after. And that's why I had you pause for a moment and ask some of those deeper questions. What is it that you truly desire? What is it that truly warms your heart? Can you see yourself in this relationship or in a relationship? What does that feel like for you, Capricorn? What does that look like when you finally move forward here and you take this relationship to the next step? All right, it says, be sure you really want what you're chasing after. The appearance of this card isn't to cause fear, for life is all about learning lessons. Practice temperance, diplomacy, and thoughtful consideration before making a move. So for some of you, that is someone else's energy. It could be a divine masculine who may feel like their masculinity is being challenged, is what I'm getting here. That's interesting. And maybe that's why there's been this shock, because there may be a shock factor that comes up and you may say, all right, I need to leave this behind. It's not exactly what I had planned for. It's not exactly what I hoped. But I do see that you are thinking about the moves before just, being too impulsive here. But the Chariot shows up and says, you're ready. You're ready here to fully invest in this new future, whatever that may look like for you. And I feel like it's action. It's go time on your part. So beautiful confirmation. I'm also getting here like the next 5 weeks could be significant with that 5 of Wands. So I would say the next 5 weeks are going to be very impactful when it comes to matters of the heart. And if you're traveling, you may be traveling and meeting up with family within the next 5 weeks. And there could be someone who is a bit of a downer, like a Debbie Downer type of energy, or they're constantly complaining about, their life or, their stuff that they have going on. And not that you are inconsiderate to this person's needs or their emotional state, but you also know that it's important for them to take accountability for their own actions, their own healing. And you may be saying, not my monkeys, not my circus. I'm going to politely decline this invitation, or I'm just not going to, invest my time and let it kind of destroy my happiness. So I see that you are choosing with thoughtful consideration how to still maintain a level of fun, but without letting someone else rain on your parade or distract you from, some of your own goals that you have. Let's get a message here from the crystal spirits. And at this time, Capricorn, if you can safely do so, please close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in from your solar plexus chakra. Nice big inhale through the nose. Hold it for the count of 3, 2, 1, and release through the mouth with a nice deep sigh. And with your eyes still closed, tune into your third eye chakra, the area between your eyebrows and your forehead region. And I want you to imagine the first crystal or gemstone that shows up in your mind's eye. Now, this could be a crystal that you know the name of. Perhaps you're very familiar with it. Your gemstone could show up as a specific shape, size, or color. Your gemstone could be giving off frequencies of protection, strength, or unconditional love. And if you need a moment, just pause the video and come back when you are ready. And for those of you that would like to be entered into the free monthly reading giveaway, all you need to do is drop your crystal, whether it's the name, the shape, the size, the color, drop it in the comment section below. I will personally enter you into the free reading giveaway. So please make sure you've hit that subscribe and bell button so you don't miss that notification. All right, we have lapis or lapis lazuli here. I love the color of this crystal. It's a beautiful blue. I actually have the egg here. I'll just show it to you. So this is a throat chakra crystal. It activates truth. It's about spiritual truth, enlightenment, unity consciousness, and even inner vision. So when it comes to relationships, all of us arose from the same liquid soup of potential when the earth began to take form. And you, like everyone, are made of the star stuff. You are intermingled within the creation of all of life. And Lapis Spirit is here to remind you that you are never alone. You don't have to figure out this life stuff all by yourself, Capricorn. Lapis Spirit can help you learn through relationships with others and through tapping into the universe for higher wisdom and insight about those experiences. Sometimes it takes being around people with a different perspective to start to better understand yourself and what you most deeply value. And that's interesting because that's your outcome. This makes perfect sense here. And maybe looking at those situations as a learning opportunity instead of, again, maybe running from them or feeling on the defense or feeling, maybe that's other people. Maybe they have felt defensive when you have brought about your viewpoints in some way. Is someone in your life today gifting you with a new perspective and insights that can help you on your healing path? Look around, for the universe wants you to experience enlightenment, not to be in the dark repeating the same old patterns. Often, change agents are sent your way to encourage you to make that shift you promised yourself you would make. Open up to the idea that allies can come in forms you might not have expected. I love that phrase, change agent. Now, there could be someone here with the shot card who has been a change agent. I have had many catalysts in my life, certain people that have come in for a reason, a season, or a lifetime to administer growth and evolution in my own healing path and journey. Now, you may be seeing change agents in your own life, Capricorn, or you yourself could be a change agent for someone else. And that lesson could have been completed where maybe it's time to move on here. Meditating with this stone allows us to connect with the sovereign within. It allows us to to access that part of us that knows and is willing to share knowledge and guide us, not to maybe what we want, but what we need, right? It reminds me of that song, you can't always get what you want, but you might just get what you need. And I feel like that's what's coming in here for you. And not that you're not going to get what you want, because I actually see that there is an alignment taking place. But first, it feels like there's some growth potential. There's that, again, change agent that's coming in. And oftentimes change is very difficult because we hang on with everything we have, right? We hang on because stepping out of our comfort zone can be oh so scary. So let's get a final message for you from your soul's truth. What do you need to know? How can you be more flexible right now? What are you trying to control? Maybe it's time to let go. Let love move through you today and trust the outcome will be for your highest good. Yes, it will. Remind yourself all day long that you are safe, that life is happening for you, and that you are not alone. Then if you can, do some yoga. Capricorn, that is what I have for you, beautiful souls. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the message, please give it a thumbs up. Feel free to share, like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Don't forget to drop your crystal spirit in the comment section below the video. Lots of love.